do I would like for y'all to address any issues that you're having in the market, anything that you would like me to go over or show you again. That way, I'm just not rambling at the end, and I can stick to it as far as coaching y'all up on the next step or what you should do in the market. So y'all are welcome to unmute yourselves and kind of just talk about that before I begin on my recap of AGEN. So you're welcome to open up. Everybody can open up actually at this moment, or you can just, if you don't want to have your video on, I prefer you to have your video so I can see y'all pretty faces. Not you, Corey and Kenny, y'all ugly. All right, so Corey, that's good. Corey, nobody wants to see your face, bro. I get it all the time. All right, I'll coach you up on how to take the punishment of being ugly. So yeah, you too, Kenny. All right, so Corey, you're at the coffee shop drinking a lot of coffee. You're gonna be up late tonight, which is cool. Why you out there? Give me a frappe, caramel frappe, by the way. Kenny, I see that you on your iPhone. It says Kenny's iPhone. So if you want to tune in with your voice, that's cool too. If y'all get the app, you can actually do like FaceTime on here. So if you do get the app, you can do that. Just wanted to let y'all know. It's the Ring Central Meetings app. Sam, I guess you're not in the mood to talk. Big sis is probably in the robe right now, big chilling with the cigar in her hand, smoking, big chiefing.
Sis just woke up from a whole nap.
Ooh, grumpy. Excuse me. I'm gonna back up then. I know how that go. What's up? How you doing? How you doing, Sam?
I'm hanging in there.
Hanging in there. Okay. All right. That sounds very neutral. I don't know where to go with that. So, are you having anything you want me to cover as far as the stock market goes? And like I said, this is a mastermind, so you can hit on some points too if you see something out there that's working.
Not really. Just going over how to find strong stocks right now. It's not that many.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we go about trying to dig through some of it? Like it's so unsteady right now. And I'm just now getting back in. I ain't traded in like a month, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know
Okay.
that I trust myself like I should with the market looking the way it's looking.
Yeah. So your question was
Yeah, how to find
how does yeah how
strong.
does strong stocks, how does one identify that?
Yeah.
All right. So with strong stocks, you have to find a stock that is in a clear uptrend, a clear stage two when the market is doing bad. So it kind of trades opposite of the market. And so one thing I want to do is share my screen, and I want to go to I'm gonna go to the platform so you can see it. So I just exited this one today. I was up like $900, and then I ended up closing out for like $168 loss. But this stock is a strong stock, so I do expect this stock to trend. Now, how do I find this? So when I do my examination, the first thing I always do is go over the overall markets. And so let me push this to the side so y'all can see my screen. So the overall market is clearly in a downtrend. And if you go to the Dow, clearly, in an unstable downtrend, doesn't really know what it wants to do. If you go to the NASDAQ, clearly in a downtrend, as well as the S&P 500. It's just been downtrending. So when I go through my scanners, I look to see what stock is in an uptrend. And I see how long. I always check to see how long it's been trending. I just don't want to jump into a stock just because it started to trend just then. I want to see if it's had at least one or two pullbacks first. That can be one or two. But I just go down the list and I have my channel tool and I see like what stocks have been doing. Like I just look to see, all right, what is it making higher lows and higher highs, or is it making, lower lows and lower highs? And so right now, like I look at the current, but I always go back and look at history. So right now I am on a 2-year one daily. You can actually look for these stocks on a 1-year daily chart. You don't have to actually, there's no stipulation on how far you can go back. You can go back as far as you want. But I do like to find my trends on a daily chart. That's just the way I've always done it. I haven't always done it that way, but like in the beginning, I was all over the place. But as I got more good and more better as a trader, I realized that me finding stocks on the daily chart, it just gave me a bigger picture view, and it gave me a defined view at the same time. So I didn't use the weekly chart. I didn't use like a 5-year weekly. I used 1-2 year daily because it gave me enough of a big picture to see where the trend is at, and then more detailed in day to day how that stock is moving as far as the price range. So right here, this is perfect example. This is considered a strong stock, and this is on a 1-year daily chart. And I'm gonna show you why it's considered a strong stock. I'm just gonna do a quick analysis right here. Nothing too major. And I'm just gonna basically connect some dots. Oh, I messed up on that one. I'm just gonna connect some dots, some support and resistance, and I'm just doing this to give me a visual of if the stock is uptrending, diagonal going upward, or is it going sideways, or if it's continuing to go down. And so this is only on a 1-year, 1-day chart. I can go back 2-year, 1-day chart, and I see that this stock is obviously in a uptrend right now, and it's been like that since this is October 29th. So for a month and a half, it's been doing that. And so I go back and look at the overall, and I do a comparison. Another thing is you can plot these charts. You can plot these charts against each other, and I'm gonna show y'all how to do that. I just haven't used it in a while, but I go back on here. I do it manually. I go back on here, and I look at the Dow. Dow has been going down since October 29th. So from October 29th, it just started going down. It was going up, and then it just started going down. I go to the IWM, and from October 29th, this has been going down. So I just go and look at all the markets and see what they've been doing. Now, specifically, what stock was that? Was I looking at? Recent. This was ARCO. So ARCO. I looked in October 29th, it's been going up. And so I know that this stock is not dependent on these overall markets. It's trending. And so from that point, I'm like, all right, so why is it trending? I do my root cause analysis. I just ask, who, what, when, where, why. And I look at, okay, so why is it trending? And so I go to the news and see what news has came out around that time. I see that this had a third quarter financial result. And I see that it was pretty good. Looking down here, there's no negative sign. So it did pretty good. And then I can go to the news and see, all right, what was the report? What was the result? And I'll just click on that, wait for it to load up. It's taking a little minute to load up. Try one more time. Oh, there you go. So I look at the results. You don't have to go dig deep. At the top, they should have what has it done. And so I can see that it's increased in comparable sales. And then the point basis was 12.3. And so I see right here, there's 0.12. So I'm knowing that the income has increased. It's not negative 0.12. So it hasn't decreased. So I see that net income increased 68% to 42.7 million. What is that? That's an earnings winner. So I'm knowing, okay, it's an earnings winner. I understand that this is why the stock is trending. So that answers my question. So now I'm like, okay, how long can this trend last? You know, you never know how long a trend can last. But what you can do is look at the history and see how long a trend has lasted before it has a big drop. And so that's when you can go back. You can go back even further and see how long a trend has lasted. And right now we see that this trend has lasted, you know, for a long time. It can last for a pretty long time. I don't know where this was, but let me go back to the 4-year weekly chart. I can see right here that obviously this was a point of decision, and they had to make a decision. They either wanted to go down or keep going up. So it went up. And this lasted all the way, I'm gonna say this lasted for 80 bars. So that's 80 bars. And you can say that's probably more than a year time. So that's from the middle of 2015, which is April, close to the middle, all the way to this is 2000 and I want to say this is 2017. So it lasted a pretty long time. And so when I see that, I'm like, all right, this stock can trend for a while. Now I did notice that. This is why I drew this line right here, because I wanted to see, you know, when did it really break out this trend? Because this was basically a reversal. It reversed in trend. It was going to go continue on a downtrend, but it broke out right around here. If I want to extend that line, even though it broke out of stage one right here, it doesn't solidify until it's trading above this range too. And I can cancel that. Let me cancel the right extension. And so I'm just going back in history. I know why it's trending. It's a earnings winner. I understand that the overall markets are not doing good, but this is doing good. So now we have that. Now we're doing our technical analysis, and we're doing more of a trend analysis and see, okay, so it broke its trend. I know why. Now our question is, you know, would we trade this stock? It's a strong stock. It doesn't depend on the market. It obviously has an earnings winner, and it's looked like it's been doing well for a minute. So this is a trendy, strong stock. We know that. And now we have to go in our, you know, all right, so if I was to trade the stock, you know, where would I enter? And so now I can go to my hourly chart and see, okay, where could I enter? Now that this is in the stage two, it's had at least one pullback. Like I said before, it has at least one pullback. Where can I get in? Because I don't want to get in at the top, you know, of a rally. I want to get in, you know, closer to the beginning of a rally. And so this stock is going to have pullbacks within the trend. We just find the dip. So right now, this stock broke out, pulled back, bounced, started to rally, started to consolidate just a little bit right before it broke out of this. So it broke out. Even with the market doing bad, it still broke out to continue its rally to make a higher high. So it just made a higher high right here. Boom, it made a higher high. This is the first high of the stage two. And then we have a slight pullback right here. Now, I'm also looking at the SMA 20. And this is kind of like a guideline, like the golden rule. The golden line lets me know, okay, the stock is trading above or beneath its 20-day moving average. So this is more of momentum. And I'm looking at, okay, the momentum is still on the side. Right now it's trading above the SMA 20 line, 20-day average. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. So it's not just all the way beneath the 20 line, which is, you know, that's not okay in my books, but I'm seeing that this thing is pulling back right here, and I can just zoom in and see, okay, so once it starts to rally again, I can buy the dip. Just like this happened right here, you could have bought this dip. So if we're dip buying in this sense, I can see and ask myself, okay, do I want to take the risk right here? And what is, you know, the probability, you know, what is the next resistance point? So now that we have a solid dipping point, I want to draw another line. And I'm just going to draw that diagonal like this. Now, when it comes to degrees, I'm not really big on what's the degree of the angle. I just try to get it close as possible to this line and to give me kind of like a substance of this is the support area, because this thing can fall the next day, but it hasn't. It started to curve right here. Then I want to draw my resistance line. What is the next point of resistance? I need to know the upside of this thing. So boom, that's the second highest point. I know that that can be a resistance. It can very well play out like that. I want to see the next one. So the next one is up here, somewhere up here, and I'm just going to put it right here. Just touch multiple times. Boom. I have another one. And then I have one up here. And this is all within 180 days. So that being said, now I can take my trend line tool and see what is the upside of me even playing this. Is it worth it? How much do I have in my account? Do I need a bigger account? Is it going to be worth the trade? What is the percentage of the upside? So from right now, it's trading at 820. I can go to 820 and I can start right there, and I can pull it all the way up to the next resistance line, which is 4.56%. And you say, okay, so if I traded this, I can gain 5% on my money. So now when you do that, you can say, okay, so this is my highest probability of making that percentage of return on my investment. So I know that's the highest probability because it's my first resistance line. So I can sell right there. I can sell right before it. So now you go to your account and you say, all right, is it worth the trade? Is it worth the risk? And, you will go to see, all right, what is your account size? Let's just say your account size is 25 grand. And you say, all right, if I was to get 5% out of that, then what is 5%? So I do 25,000 times 5%. That'll be my profit on return. And as you can see, we're on the hourly chart. So on the average movement of an hourly chart, you can say, okay, once it hits this, I can sell at that point. This can happen within, if you want to keep it diagonal, this can happen within 3 days. And you can do your degrees however you want. I'm not too big on degrees. I know I've heard 50 degrees, 80 degrees. Now, what I mean by that is if you look at this line, it has a degree at the bottom of the box. So right now, this is 55 degrees. So you can say, all right, that's how the stock will probably trend up. So in 3 days or 4 days or between 3 or 5, this can happen. You can earn 1250 off this trade from making 5%. That is the highest probability of this trade. Now you can go up even more. So it's trading at 820. Let's just say you can get in at 830 and say, all right, I think this stock can bust past this and make a higher high because it is in the trend and this stock is strong. It is an earnings winner. So this thing can trend up for months. Boom. Say, all right, I want to take my chances on the second highest probability. It's not the highest probability, but it's the second highest probability. So we can drag our line all the way up to 9.52, and that is a 15% return. You say, all right, that's the next resistance point. If I want to take that risk, I'll take it. This is my possible reward. It's 15% or 14%. Let's just do 14 and round it down. So we can do our account size. We can say, all right, my account size is 25,000, but I only want to trade 50% of that because it's the second highest probability. I don't want to risk too much. I don't want to risk 90% of my account. I want to do 50%. So let's just say we do, 12 grand. We want to put 12 grand in there. 12 grand of shares, and then we can multiply that by our probability percentage of return. So we do that. That's 1680. So we have a probability of making that, maybe in a week or two, if we keep the let's just say we keep this at 50 degrees. So I'm gonna activate this and I'm gonna put it to 50 degrees. All right, let's do between 50 and 60. Let's do that. So that's in 10 days. Basically, 10 days. That's in 10 days. So that can be 2-week trade. If you plan on making that, that can be 2 or 3 weeks trades. So you just want to kind of weigh it out and see, all right, so what is the probability? What percentage can I really make on this before there start to be sellers again? Because remember, sellers come at resistance points. So we know that. So this is our second highest probability. So we know sellers are going to come right here because it happened before and history repeats itself. So we can make possible 1680 in 2 weeks from a $12,000 investment. So you can say, all right, this is my second option. And you can go a third option if you want to. Or you can strategize and say, all right, I just want to take my first option. And if it doesn't push past this, if it struggles at this price action, at this price right here of 859, then I'm going to sell. I'm going to sell and take whatever I get. You say, all right, I want to take my second option. You can say, all right, I want to take my second option. And if it pushes past this, I can just load up even more. Or I can sell half my shares right here and keep half of my other shares for this point. And this is what we call strategizing. This is how you strategize. And you need strategy, because if it doesn't happen the way, remember, things just don't happen the way we always plan it out. And with the stock market, that's highly likely to happen. Like, things just don't go well. Then you got to also remember your emotions, your greed, your fear, being impatient, stuff like that. You got to manage yourself, and you got to say, all right, what is a strategy to manage myself too? Because if I do pick the second option, what if it gets right here and then it starts to go all the way down? Do I sell? What do I do? Do I sell right here at my first option? Do I sell half my shares? Do I keep it in there to see if it's going to bounce and go make a fourth high? What do I do? So this is called strategy. But figuring out how to find, the hottest, strongest stocks is by basically looking at, what the stock is doing compared to the overall markets. And if it's uptrending and the overall markets are downtrending, you know that the stock is strong. You also know that the stock is strong by looking at what variables are playing into why it's going up. So we understood from this stock right here that the reason why it's strong is because it's the earnings winner and it's been doing well and it's increasing sales 68%. So we have that analysis. Then, or maybe it was SEC filings, maybe this company has, a new product coming out that's going to be released on a commercial or anything, and you dig into those filing reports. Maybe it's, celebrity, maybe it's doing a contract with a bigger company. Whatever it is, you find that variable and you can ride with that variable along with its trend. So you understand that the stock has been trending because of that variable. And this is your strong stocks. There's not going to be too many strong stocks without a variable, without a reason why it's going up and why it's trending up. Because this stock could have easily just dropped all the way down after this small little rally. It could have dropped all the way down and just stopped trending because, earnings winners, they may not last long. But earnings winners are known to last long. And so when you find that strong stock, now you have to decide, do I want to take the risk? What are my options? What is the next resistance point? I need to find out the upside to this. I need to find out, what is my account size? Is it going to be worth the trade? Could I just keep this on a watch list and watch it? Could I wait until, a third pullback instead of trying to play the second pullback? What is the options? And so we just go through this whole process of looking at these stocks and trying to find them. But to sum it up and put it very simple for a third grader to understand is that if the stock is trending up diagonal, then it's tradable. Because if the overmarket is doing this and the stock is doing this, it's a strong stock. It doesn't depend on the overall market. It's doing good. And that's how I would look at it on a daily chart, always. That's how I would look at it. Stocks don't always go your way. Like even the stock that I played, AGen, like this stock is I think it's gonna keep trending. It just had a rough time right now. This stock can drop all the way down and pull back, and then start going up again, and then pull back, and then start going up again because that's what stocks do when they trend. They don't just go straight up all the way. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes it trends green. It just have green days for like 20, 30, 40 days. Sometimes that happens, but we want to bank on the highest probability of the stock, and we want to get in at the best position possible. We want to have our best entry. And so that's why we'll look at hourly charts to see what are the details of this stock and trading within this range and within this time frame. And so now we look at hourly, we say, okay, this thing is like obviously it's curving back up. If it can go up next day, I can buy at 840 and then I can take my risk. I can take my first option, I can take my second. Just remember that with buying power, yeah, you don't have to stay in the stock that long. You can get in and get out. And that is one strategy that you can do is you don't have to hold it for the whole trend. If you want to, great, because this is a higher price stock and they're more stable than your average penny stocks. So that's why you can trade them. Some of these are higher price stocks, but they're still small cap. So, you have to weigh in all the options. But it's all about your risk factor, how much you're willing to go ahead and risk, and then understand, is there any reward in this? Because the whole point of this skill is to get rewarded for knowing this skill. So, we can cut the bullshit and say this is what we love to do. No, this is a skill. We need to see, how can I get a reward out of this? And if it's not a high probability, then no, I'm not going to take it. If I only got $5,000 and, if I'm only using $5,000 and I'm only can get 5% out of this, then do I really want to make that trade? Or am I going to despise small gains? Because we all think differently. So if I want to get 5% from $5,000, I mean that's $250. Within a couple of days, is it worth it? Would you rather wait on something with more upside? That's all on you, because you may find this stock. This is just one stock. What if there was 4 more on your list? What if one looked just like this? It was uptrending, it had a variable, and it was way more upside to its previous resistance. So that's how you go through the process of, all right, I found 4 strong stocks or 5 of them. And out of 5 of them, 2 of them have great upside. And the other 3, they're all right. But the 3 that's all right, they have variables to go with it. But the other 2, they're just trending up. No variable, no news. So, you got to weigh it out. And at the end of the day, you have to make a decision. Nobody can make it for you. But using these tools, using that root cause analysis, the way you think, how you question, before you get into an investment, because you just don't want to just hop in everything. And that's kind of what was happening to the whole group, months ago, was people were just hopping into it. I was even just hopping into stuff because I'm just so used to just eyeballing, seeing it. I've been doing it for a minute and I'm thinking, okay, but even I got hit in the butt and said, hey, bro, like you got to go back to the fundamentals, walk through the process and go through the procedures of finding a good trade, finding a trade that's worth it. Don't just eyeballing and say, oh, well, yeah, it's in stage 2, boom, 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 whatever. I'm gonna trade it, make a couple thousand, boom, I'm gonna get out. It just don't work like that. So that's just the process, Sam. Just to sum it up, that's the process. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so I think I'm on the right track. Could we look at just one stock?
All right, yeah, of course.
Uh, at my sweet little baby, MBEV.
NB
EV.
EV.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got it on my watch list. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had a little red day today. I'm hoping it'll go back up.
Let me put this up here. I can't put it up here. Oh yeah, I gotta keep it down here. Okay, I'll just keep it down here. Boom. All right. So let's look at this baby right here. This stock is obviously,
Mhm.
yeah, this is good. This I remember looking at this. You found a strong stock. You did.
Okay.
Yeah. Hold on. Before I say that, let me look at the. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. The stock is back in the uptrend. Going to 1 year chart. Yep, the stock is back in the uptrend. So what about the stock? You wanted to talk about it?
Um. So okay. So I actually already got in yesterday at 583, and it had a little aftermarket play last night, and it shot up to about a little over 650, and then it's dropped today. So I'm trying not to panic
Yeah.
about it because I don't know if it's going to push down or keep going up. Looks like it'll keep going up.
Yeah. This is a strong stock. So yeah, I'm pretty sure you have your analysis on there, but
Yeah.
just for the viewers, I am gonna kind of just quickly do it. Now I do know everybody that's watching, I'm just doing this really quickly. It's not me just studying this for hours, like Sam has already done. But obviously, you bought at a good time. You bought at 583, right?
Mhm.
And this was yesterday.
Yeah.
So you bought on the rally, and it shot up all the way to 650.
Yeah.
And now it had a little play in after hours and pre-market, and it dropped the next day. In aftermarket now, I can see that it is going up. So breakout, where it was a failed breakout right here, it dropped back under, and then I'm walking everybody through my mind right now. I'm talking out loud. That day it shot all the way up. Aftermarket pulled back, shot up in pre-market, shot up the next day. You bought. Good buy, good trade. Now I think that was a good entry. I make my entries all on hourly charts, so this is a good entry. 583, very very good entry. Went up, shot back. So remember, I mentioned managing your emotions and patience and all that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So if it was me, I'm thinking, all right, I'm at 583. I'm at 583. Where would you stop at?
You know what? I should have went on ahead and got out. My stop right now is set at five. Is it 560 or 560 something? I need to look at it again, but it stopped. It's somewhere in 560.
All right. Why did you set it where you set it, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't because I did the I think that was the previous day low.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
not at the bottom of the candlestick, but right before it closed.
Previous day
So
low. Got you. Got
yeah.
you. Okay. Hmm. Well,
I
the
mean, like
swing.
I could have got out, but I was trying to, because what I realized something I do, if I see it shoot up, then I'll be like, all right, let me just, I'm getting out. And I was like, okay, no, I want to
Yeah.
actually
Where'd you go?
swing trade. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to not touch it. And every day, I'm a little nervous, not a lot
Yeah. Well, so where's your goal at?
nervous. You know what? I think I'm going to put that back at, because I know this one can ride. So I didn't want to set it tight. But I think I'm gonna put it. I want to lower it down to 650. I think I'm gonna just put it back at 650.
Back at 650.
Yeah, because I mean, I was hoping it would ride on up to seven, like where you just drew that line. It's like, well, maybe if it can ride all the way up to seven, I'll ride it up to seven. I think I'm gonna bring it down.
Okay. So you bought 583, and this is
Yeah,
not to put you on the spot or anything. I'm
no,
just
it's fine.
yeah.
Yeah,
All right. So I can see why you wanted to sell around 7. This
yeah.
resistance right here. It touched that in aftermarket and pre-market.
I got
I
it.
mean, you can trade during that time, but obviously you weren't thinking about
Yeah,
that. I wouldn't even think about that either, honestly. So, um, this stock could now let's look at it on a daily. We're looking at it on the hourly, so we see
yeah.
more details. So let's look at it on this right here. So when we're looking at it on this, you bought yesterday
Mhm.
583, and it just had it opened up way higher. So it was a gap, and it dropped all the way down. Basically, it did not. It was basically a gap reverse fill, if that makes sense. So
Mhm.
it gapped up. but it was a bearish fill because it filled all the
Okay.
way back to where it closed the previous day. And
Mm.
I wouldn't be too in a rush to sell, honestly. I just
Okay.
wouldn't. But let me, hold on, give me a second. I don't want to tell you my opinion, but I don't want to be too quick to give you that. So this stock could pull all the way back
Right.
right here, and then it can start trending up. Right here,
Hmm.
I would really, really manage my patience and see, okay, the stock has been doing good regardless of the market. The market has been doing a little rough, but the stock is trending up. These are my resistance right here.
Hmm.
If I'm in the stock, I'm saying if this thing cannot push up tomorrow, you may consider cutting early, whether that's profits or a small loss. That
Okay.
that is that is your option. Another option is you can see if it's going to support this bounce right here. You could have your stop 2 to 3% below here. But
Okay.
if you do that, that is the second option to see if it can continue to trim. Because if it pulls back and it rallies, it can rally and make new highs up here.
Okay.
Okay, you can do that. Now, if it does do that, you can sell right here as your first option, or you can sell right here as your second option, second highest probability. But you can test your patience. Well, this is already testing your patience. You can manage your
Yeah.
patience by seeing if this thing can bounce, because you know when stocks go into stage two, they pull back. Most times they pull back and they bounce right back up and make new highs. That is actually swing trading right there. So I see your goal. You said I wanted to actually swing trade. Just know
Yeah.
that this stock, you may be in it for a week or two.
Okay.
But now you're just holding it and you're just letting it do what it does. But also between that time of you trading it and just letting it do what it does, you can also set alerts to
Mm.
see if your stop is down here. You can set an alert right here to see if it touches this point before it touches your stop. You can do that. You can set an alert, right click, set an alert right here, at or below. So if it hits this price at or below, it'll let you know. So now you know when you get that alert, you're like, okay, this stock is continuing to drop. I can either get on my app, or I can trigger a sell, or I can just wait to see if it can bounce right here. Or you can put your alert right here at this line and say, all right, if this thing bounces, I'll know that it hit this and I'll watch to see if it can bounce. Or I can just wait to see if it hit my stop and get me out. So you have options. You can play it out. Me, personally, and if I was in this stock, I'm looking at history. I'm looking at how it's acted in history. So I can do 2 year 1 day, and I can see when it was in a rally, has it ever had a pullback and went back up? So I can go to this rally and see within this rally, has it had a pullback and went back up? And this rally right here, I'm thinking these are pullbacks. These are large pullbacks, by the way. This is very, very hot stock. And these rallies were really big. So that's one rally right there. And let's go to this one. Gaps, pullbacks, gap ups went way higher. That confirms our theory that the stock can pull back. Now this is in stage 4. This is a stage 2, short stage 2. Let's look at this one. Within this rally, did it pull back? Yep. And then it go back up? Yep. Pull back again for 3 days and went right back up for a new higher range. I'm thinking, yeah, you can. This is a resistance. So, we're looking at the history. I'm thinking I'll give it another day. I'll see if it can close green tomorrow. If it can't close green tomorrow, then me personally, I would probably take profits, just cut them
Okay.
quick. Um, reason I like this stock is because it has high probability, but at the same time, it also is strong. So that's not the only reason. Because I'm not saying that because it only has high probability is the reason why I like the stock. It's also strong, and I will bank on that. I will bank on history before I bank on my own thought process because our mind can play tricks on us. So this thing can shoot all the way up tomorrow. It can shoot all the way down tomorrow. But from the looks of it, it's known for just shooting up, crazy, making crazy gains within a week or two. But the stock has already shot up, and I'm thinking this is maybe a triple bottom right here. 1, 2, 3, triple bottom, and it's rallying up. I'm thinking maybe it can retest up here and here. Well, it's already retested this, came up short a little bit,
Yeah.
dropped down. Thinking maybe I'll give it another day.
Okay.
If it's red, I'm like, okay, if it's red by 2:30 or something, I'm looking at selling, or 2 o'clock. If it's or late in the day, it doesn't have to be 2 o'clock. It can be 1:30, 12:30, whatever your time range is. If it doesn't get back up, I might just cut it. If it's green, even if it's not all the way covered here, if it's just green, I'm like, okay, now it's repeating history. I can just stay in the stock and see if it can retouch here, and I can sell at my first option, or I can give it
Okay.
another opportunity to break it and touch right here. But I'm thinking if it was me, if it can go green and then the next day it can touch this, I'm selling right here just because. And that was my ideal on AGN too. So that's my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. What you think?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I'm gonna try to ride it to 7. I'll stay. Yeah,
All right.
I'm staying.
Cool. All right. I'm in agreement with that. You got any other thing that you want to discuss or
No, that's it.
okay. All right. I'm gonna give it up to Corey can't talk. Kevin, yeah, Corey can't talk. He feeling himself for coffee right now. Which is cool. And then Kevin got off. I mean, Kenny got off, not Kevin. I'm thinking Kevin's on. Kenny got off. One thing I did want to discuss, and before I go to the next topic, same thing happened with me. So we get in the same boat sometimes. It dropped all the way down today, and my initial entry was 258. So I had a small loss, but I tried to give it another opportunity right here, and I just want to show you the real. I just don't want to. I don't want to bullshit nobody. Yeah, it was going up. This was a neutral day. It dropped. I gave it another chance. I'm like, okay, it closed green. The morning, it started going up, and I was like, okay, it's good. I'm gonna sell right up here. My exit right here. I was gonna sell. I was trying to give it an opportunity to break past this, but I said, you know what? It couldn't do it the first time. Second time, I'm just gonna sell right here. And this thing is just like, nah, bro, we got a different plan. And it just dropped on me. So I had to take small little loss. I was up 900, so you can tell I had to manage my frustration, but it's cool. It happens. So same thing happened to me. I'm just wanting to show you why, we do have to manage our emotions and why we have to do analysis because we just have to go through this procedure and this process of root cause analysis so we can make a wise trade. And so this was a good trade in my books because I went ahead and cut. The stop was down here, but I went ahead and cut it because my whole plan was to only stay in it for about a week, and I did. Well, it was technically 4 business days because I got into it last Friday, and that was my whole plan. My plan was not to stay in it that long, just because this was basically the first breakout. Well, it broke out, and then it kind of like rode this line, and so I wouldn't necessarily count that as a pullback, but I did not want to get right here if I knew that that was basically I'm taking this as this is a first pullback now. But when I got into it, I'm like, this is not the first pullback, but it did ride it. I'm gonna get in this rally, and this is one of those stocks where it may just bounce and go because it had a nice solid stage one right here. Stage four, nice and solid. Stage one, but it went away on me, so I just had to go ahead and cut them quick and go on about my business. And I just wanted to show you that because you're in a stock where it's strong too, and this has a nice variable, and so I like that. That's not it. Which one in what? Oh, right here.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
MBB.
So this stock is obviously nice. The variable, not sure about the variable. I'm not sure why I went up like that. Um, it made it on the list of hot stocks. I see that. This is a cannabis stock. Is this a new age beverage corp? Is that like the wine, marijuana wine or something like that?
I don't. That's a good question.
I
I
mean,
need to
I
actually
see that
read it.
it's.
Like
I
I've
mean,
never read into what kind of company this is. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. I'm seeing that this is obviously a hemp drink.
Okay.
I'm not even digging deep. I'm just looking at the headlines and looking at why this stock ended up on those headlines. So this is something to do with cannabis.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So I see why the stock is. It's had a lot of news recently, and I like that. My stock didn't have that much news. I don't believe it did. Let's see. Yeah, my stock didn't have a lot of news, so it really didn't have too many variables. So you do have that, and I always look for variables now. Um, I used to do it all the time, but now I'm getting back to the basics because that October, November, it was just shaky. It was really shaky. So, uh, yeah, going back to your stock, yeah, I'll give it another day, and then just looking at the stock I just showed you that I just traded, AGN and lost on. It's just you never know, even if everything is right there, and you know that's just what it is. But I'm taking that chance, just like you took that chance and took that risk. It's just how it goes. You win some, you lose some, and I don't know. You just manage your patience and your optimism during the trade is tough, but that's just what we do as traders. Which is what we do. But I'm thinking that was a great entry. So even if you lose, it's still a good trade. Why? Because you did your analysis. You walked through the procedure, and you just don't win every time you get all the variables lined up in a row. Just because everything is set and go, it just doesn't mean that it's going to work out. And we'll see tomorrow. I'll be watching it with you.
Okay.
Yeah, the market seemed like it wanted to do really well this week, and then it has some red days. But I'm keeping an eye on that and the news. So I am keeping an eye. I don't watch the news, but I do have little apps, and I'm on Twitter, so everything comes on Twitter about the stock market. So I keep up with everything and see what who's doing and who's saying what to make the market drop or fall, because people words are powerful. And if Warren Buffett said, "Hey, I'm selling all my shares here soon," somebody make an article about it, people are going to sell because Warren Buffett is one of the greatest investors in our time. So that's that on that. Now I can move on to the next thing that I wanted to share with everybody. Since hold on, Corey, I didn't even see that you. Oh, that was a good question from Sam. Yeah, so Corey said you had a good question. I think you did too.
Thank you, Corey.
Yeah, that was a good question. Yeah, so anything else with stocks before I move on? I know Sam, you said you recovered. Corey, you can ask any question that you want, unless I covered, what Sam asked. Unless I covered your question within that. Let's see. Okay. So hey, good job, Sam. You covered everybody's question. Yeah, that's good. Um, Do I think the market? What I think about the Russell 2000 right now is that, and this is not Corey's question. This is just my analysis going forward. Is that I drew this line maybe a week ago, and I drew this one first, and I was hoping that it didn't break this one. Now it's on the crest of breaking that, and it just doesn't make me feel too good about it. So that's my sentiment. My sentiment is like, am I taking big risks right now? No, heck no, because it's like on the edge. Like this is not even a strong support right here. It's just not strong at all. I mean, let me extend this thing. It's just not strong. Um, do I think it can break it a little bit? Yeah, it broke it again. Remember, each time a support or resistance line is touched, it gets weaker. And I'm thinking this thing is getting weaker and it can drop even more. I don't want that to happen, but if it happens, oh well.